Nate Smith. I am the director and founder of the 6th Festival, which you are on the second night of the second year, on the 22nd year of the 21st century. And it is named after the 6th mass extinction event, which is currently happening. The 5th mass extinction, this might start to sound a little bit sciencey for a second, but we're all very familiar with it because of beloved movies that showed us the dinosaurs dying, which we didn't actually discover until like the 80s, which shows you how much we don't know about things. But the last mass extinction killed all the dinosaurs and 75% of all life forms on Earth. A mass extinction, as the name implies, needs to be a supermajority of living things, plants and animals included. One of them was 95% of life, but it's at least 75% or more, and we are at the beginning of one of those. And we are not off of the chopping block for sure. We probably would be to some degree, as the rest of the world goes down to a quarter or less of the life forms remaining. We may still eke out some amount of existence, but that's what's happening right now, and nobody's talking about it, so I started a festival, because we have to say things differently than just all the facts that I just slewed at you. Maybe some performances and have some fun and gather and think about it and talk about it in a variety of ways. This is largely caused by climate change, and something that is very weird about trying to talk about climate change in a culture that has been intentionally misinformed for about 40 years. By billions of dollars from the oil industries, primarily, and our completely corrupt government, which is not like a special thing that our government is corrupt. That's what governments are. But like the misinformation there, coupled with the fact that we still, if we think about it at all, mostly think about melting ice caps, which is, if you saw the graphic on the way in, if we don't do anything about this in time, New York will be underwater next century. Wow. And we can only do something about it if we don't do something within the next 7 years, that's mostly going to happen. This and Hong Kong and London and all of the major cities along the sea are going to go underwater. And that's just one aspect of climate change. And that's a part that already mostly makes sense to us. We're like, oh, the planet, right? Water, something having to do with water. But something that was the impetus of the festival is that it's not like the ice caps aren't melting themselves. Right. The planet is having a side effect of us. And we are the cause. The things that are wrong in here and here and here are the cause, and the ice caps are melting because of that, and the animals are disappearing and the plants are disappearing, and the mosquitoes from Africa will soon be here because of us. That's the side effect of us. And trying to talk about all of that is very tricky within a culture that's been so thoroughly confused and lied to. Yeah. The news and the government should be informing us and preparing us for an emergency, just like we did for World War II, times 1,000, and globally. And so you should be hearing all of the time, every day, that this is happening, we need to change, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to be funded, start your programs over here. The same as like people started growing their own victory garden vegetables, and all of the production went towards war during World War II. That's what should be happening, and it's not. So people like me, and there might be a couple other activists in this room who recently, we had a big spring rebellion. If you know who Extinction Rebellion is, they're one of the only climate organizations that understands the severity. Basically, the Sierra Club and all these green organizations have been entirely co-opted and don't do jack shit. Apparently, like basically, they do a little bit of legislation, but with a corrupt government that doesn't do anything. So Extinction Rebellion is a disruptive movement, and yet we get perceived as kind of crazy. We shut down the distribution of the New York Times and a number of other papers last month. And the only reporting on it, which the rest was completely silent, nobody really talked about it, was from the New York Post, which is a tabloid. And they called us a bunch of climate hippie activists, professional though, and just badmouthed us and tried to pull up our like rap sheets. Because we just come off like crazies, because that number of 7 years ticking down over there isn't blasted. through conventional mediums that they should be, through schools and all of that. And I'm sorry to just like start off a big tirade, but like I kind of have to. You know, cheers. Great, thank you. That's nice that you clapped at that, because you could have been crickets right now. Yeah, so that's why we're doing this. But like pivoting from all of that, everybody understands like Bon Jovi holding a benefit concert for cancer. So like, why shouldn't we? We should do that. We should be able to do that. A lot of people are like, what does this have to do with climate change? That's back to the like, maybe we should talk about a corrupt government for 5 hours instead of climate change, because that's the problem that's causing that one. And that's how we need to talk about it. But we also just need to do whatever. Have bake sales and hang out. And yeah, ideally the dream of the festival is that it expands and becomes a true fringe festival where people just contribute their own from whatever they do. Last year we had 25 events in Chicago and online, and our first event was a documentary showing climate from the military's perspective, which as a number of, I know you are in this room, the military is not my favorite thing in the world, but they have a perspective on it, and they're surprisingly one of the government institutions, although they're far right-leaning, that knows what's going on, because it's their job to be prepared for the catastrophes that are coming. And so they're pretty aware of it, and I had generals that I sat down and talked with from Bangladesh and here, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just emailed people, and it kind of started. And then I talked with Kathy Kelly, a renowned peace activist and anti-nuclear activist, a couple days later, who bashed the shit out of the military appropriately, because both count, because both are on the planet, and the planet is the topic. So tonight is going to be much more of like last night. We had a series of climate-related short plays, which were pretty great. I'm very surprised that they went so well. And tonight's like whatever the fuck you want to do, because do whatever you want to do. We have less acts and have been given more time. I have to pause. We've been given time by Theater 80. They're like, if it goes a little longer, whatever, we'll just keep sending people in from the bar if they come. Theater 80 is fantastic. I've done, yeah. Many lower East Villagers in here appreciate that this is that's what should be happening in addressing a global issue, is to get communal, and so it's really cool that there's so many people from this neighborhood here in this neighborhood institution. Yeah, I'm going to start. I met Mark Smith, who, when I was in Chicago before here, Mark Smith started slam poetry. If you know what slam poetry is, he's not really known as the founder, because when the documentary from HBO came around and talked to him about it, he was like, this isn't my thing, I don't own this. And so somebody from New York got kind of the centrality in the documentary, and most people think he started it, or most people don't know. But Mark Smith was amazing, is amazing, and I'm very, very happy that I met him when I went to Chicago to act, and met him also, and worked with him more. And I just had to say thank you to him, although he's not in this room. We are on TV, thanks to the wonderful Joel Landy, on Songs of Freedom. And who knows, maybe Mark's watching. I'm going to start us off with a very classic poem that's quite old. And I'm going to change one word. No one is an island, entire of itself. Everyone is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe, or anywhere, is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manner of thy friends, or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind. Isn't that so weird that we still said man so much? And therefore, never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Yay! Thank you all for being here. People are just going to be kind of popcorning in and out in a true variety fashion, so everybody welcome. Joel Landy was introduced to me by a organizer and activist through Kathy Kelly, Zool, who helped set this event up. So thanks to Zool. But I love what Joel does, and I think you will too. So come on up, Joel.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good evening. Thank you so much for caring about us. It takes somebody to get a ball rolling here. And I want to thank Larry, Lork, and Otway for giving us this space to do this. And everything that we stand for is going on with this building right now. Well, we heard a very interesting story that Nate had to relate. When you have a hard day, when you have a bad day, when life is going in the wrong direction, can you laugh? Can you? I think a sense of humor is part of the prescription for survival. Well, the ice caps are all shrinking in our global lapse of thinking. The effects are being felt, so let it melt, let it melt, let it melt. The sea level is rising, but you can't say it's surprising when these are the cards we dealt. So let it melt, let it melt, let it melt. The science is very clear, and irreversible time is near. The impacts will be severe, so we all have a lot to fear. Our future prospect is dimming, so I hope you take up swimming in this land where we once dwelt. Let it melt, let it melt. Wait a minute. Don't let it melt. So, do we like organic?
Yes.
Do we like the environment?
Yes.
Do we like conservation?
Yes.
Well, this is an organic conservation environment song. Here's a part for you. When I sing, when I die, you sing, when I die. You know the tune. You know the song. One of the first songs you ever learned, right? Words a little different now. I am selling off my body when I die.
When I die.
I am selling off my body when I die.
When I die.
You can have my kidney later and my liver and gallbladder, 'cause for me it doesn't matter when I die.
When I die.
You can bid for it on eBay when I die.
When I die.
Or I could sell it to you now and you can buy any part that you desire. At the moment I expire, you'll get new inside a tire when I die.
When I die.
Oh, have vision for the things that you can buy. Hey, I can hear it that time. Have vision for the things that you can buy when I die. Can you see yourself with a pair of good eyes?
When I die.
You can get yourself a new one. Get a brown one and a blue one. And I'll throw in a few neurons when I die.
When I die.
I am selling off my body when I die.
When I die.
You never know how long you live until you try.
When I die.
You can tell your old creator you put dying off for later. You've got plans for something greater when I die.
When I die.
So don't miss out on this chance when I die.
When I die.
Have what's in my shirt and my pants when I die.
When I die.
Let the money in your purse help with my body part dispersal. Will be truly universal when I die. Before you go and see the Lord, see what you can afford. You and I shall be immortal when I die. I am selling off my body when I die. I am selling off my body when I die. You can have my kidney later, my liver and gallbladder, 'cause for me it doesn't matter when I die. You can have my kidney later, or you can sell it to Darth Vader, 'cause for me it doesn't matter. Me it doesn't matter, no, for me it doesn't matter when I die. This is the end. Well, I was going to sing a song about Indian. Anybody help close Indian Point nuclear facility here? That was a long battle. We're not done yet because we have those stinking rod pools, you know. Those pools of, they've got the cadmium rods in it that make the nuclear plant work. What do you do with those things for the next 10,000 years? You put them in a pool and hope somebody doesn't set fire to them. I was telling Nate before, on 9/11 day, when 1 minute before that plane slammed into the towers, it was flying down the Hudson River. And it passed right over the nuclear point, the Indian Point nuclear facility. And if that plane had that as the target, we would not be here. So it's a continuing problem. But instead of that song, I think I'll play this one. Because there's knowing about stuff and then there's doing something about it, which is equally as important. 50 years ago, Jimmy Cliff put out a movie called The Harder They Come.
Yeah.
The score, the album was terrific.
The best.
Well, here's one of those songs. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try. Try and try. Try and try. You'll succeed at last. Persecution you must bear. Win or lose, you gotta face your share. Got your mind set on a dream. You can make it though hard it seems now. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You'll succeed at last. Rome was not built in a day, and opposition will come your way. But the harder the battle you see, the sweeter your victory. Now you can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You'll succeed at last. Now I've been blessed with many great teachers in my life. One of my great teachers was named Yoda. You know Yoda? Little guy, big green lightsaber. Yeah, that Yoda. And Yoda told me, do or do not. There is no try. Well, that stayed with me for a while. So what I'd like us to do is when we sing it this time, we're going to sing, well, we have to replace the word try. Why don't we use the word organize? Why don't we organize instead of try? So let's sing it that way. Oh, one other change. Instead of you can do it if you really want, we'll sing we can do it if we really want. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Must be important. We can do it if we really want. We can do it if we really want. Yes, we can do it if we really want. But we must organize, organize, organize. We'll succeed at last. Oh, so many people are afraid for our democracy and Roe and Wade. But we shall never be denied when the majority is on our side. And we can get it if we really want. We can get it if we really want. Yes, we can get it if we really want. But we must organize, organize, organize. We'll succeed at last. One more change. After we organize, we have to vote. So it's going to be organize and vote. One more time now. We can get it if we really want. Yeah. We can get it if we really want. We can get it if we really want. But we must organize and vote. Organize and vote. Organize and vote. We'll succeed at last. We'll succeed at last. We'll succeed at last. We'll succeed at last. Yes, we can!
Go Landy, everybody!
Singfreedom.org is the website. Singfreedom.org. I'll put some flyers out there. You can do whatever you want. Thank you very much. Keep singing! Keep singing!
One more time for Joel.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love the message of hope that you ended on because it's real. We can do things. The word organized made me think of the Roman army is one of the most famous armies of all time. You all know about them because somebody told me this. They learned through history that they were organized. They didn't have more money or stronger arms or anything. They just learned that if you link your shields together versus an unorganized swarm, they just run into your shield and you stab them through the shields. So it's not like a bunch of like expert wisdom or anything particularly besides working together well enough. So thank you for bringing us there. Yeah. We have a lovely act next. I'll have to give a bigger introduction to somebody who pretty much helped me organize all of this by pulling a bunch of acts. I don't know most people here. I knew Joel. I know some people later, but Louisa Bradshaw is next. She comes by way of a wonderful suggestion that I'll introduce later. But this is Louisa Bradshaw and her act. But I didn't know she was coming with a full band, so I'll let you introduce her.
I didn't either. Ralph Denzer is playing horns with us tonight. Pete knows him, and Ralph agreed to play with us, so that's awesome. It's so interesting. I've wanted to do this song for a while. This was written by Randy Newman back in the 80s. So it's called Political Science. No one likes us. I don't know why. We may not be perfect, but heaven knows we try. And all around, even our old friends put us down. Let's drop the big one and see what happens. We give them money, but are they grateful? No, they're spiteful and they're hateful. They don't respect us, so let's surprise them. Let's drop the big one and pulverize them. Line, take it away. Ralph Denzer, ladies and gentlemen. the big one. There'll be no one there to blame us. We'll save Australia. Don't wanna kill no kangaroos. We'll build an all-American amusement park there. They got surfing too. So boom goes London, boom Paris. More room for you and more room for me. All the cities, the whole world round, will just be another American town. Oh, how peaceful it will be. We'll set everybody free. There'll be Japanese kimonos, baby. Italian shoes for me. Oh, how... What? Oh, how what? Oh, that's right. They hate us anyhow. So let's drop the big one now. Let's drop the big one now. Pete DeZosa, Ralph Denzer, and I'm Louisa Bradshaw. So, you know, when I was growing up, my stepmother always said, find a man with money. He'll take care of you, even if he's an asshole. Thank you so much, Mom. But we're taught that, aren't we? We're taught that we're just going to have somebody who's going to be powerful and rich and love us and blah, blah, fantasy. Someone who treats you well. We don't care about that, do we? We weren't taught that. At least, you know, in my generation, we weren't really. It was, well, I guess things got more desperate. So you're like, do you have your own apartment? Sign me up. I'll be there. You know, and it doesn't matter what an arsehole they are, does it? This song is dedicated to them. Sweetheart, I love you. Think the world of you. But I'm afraid you don't care for me. I'm gonna be the drummer now. You never show it. Won't let me know it. Everyone says I'm a fool to be pining the whole day through. Why do you act like you do? You're mean to me. Why must you be mean to me? Gee, honey, it's plain to